If you've never heard of the term rhodium plating in jewelry, this episode is for you. If you own a couple of very expensive pieces of jewelry, or if you just bought a very expensive piece of jewelry, or if you intend to buy a very expensive piece of jewelry, or any kind of jewelry for that matter, and you don't know what rhodium plating is, I will make sure that by the end of this episode, you will know exactly why it's important for your jewelry, especially if you want to keep it for the long term. Before getting into the 5 reasons why you should consider rhodium plating your jewelry, it is important to know what rhodium actually is. What is rhodium? Rhodium is a type of metal that is in the platinum group. It is a white metal. It has a very silvery type of look and feel, very close to that of platinum, but a little more bright, if you will. It has a nice little luster to it. But at the same time, the reason why it's so important to rhodium plate your jewelry is because of its actual characteristic. The characteristic of rhodium is that it is very resistant to corrosion and tarnishing, so that it could give you that nice appeal over the long term, the longevity of that piece of jewelry. Now that said, I do want you to be mindful that rhodium is a white metal, so most of the times people will rhodium plate only white gold, platinum, as well as silver. So if you are planning on actually rhodium plating your jewelry, most of the times it's going to be, again, white metals, silver, platinum, and white gold. Okay, so that said, there's a process where you put a thin layer of rhodium over your jewelry, and it's called electroplating. So by the end of this episode, I'm going to give you 5 reasons as to why you should consider rhodium plating your jewelry so they can maintain it over the long term. Number 1, it enhances its beauty and aesthetics of your jewelry. Yes, you heard that right. So if you have white gold, platinum, or palladium, and silver, you may want to consider rhodium plating your jewelry. Now, if you've owned white gold or silver, you may know that in silver there's a slight grayish hue to it, and at the same time, white gold, since it's mixed with pure yellow gold, then over time it may have a yellowish hue. Now, if you want to maintain a gorgeous metal-like, metallic, clean, mirror-like look, then you may want to consider the rhodium plating. It will give it more of a sophisticated, brilliance, and luxurious look. And at the same time, it pairs very well with gemstones, and it really accentuates the brilliance of that gemstone. So that said, again, you know, many times other types of metals, because it's not pure, such as white gold, and since you do have to mix, if many people do not know, but white gold is not a natural color. Gold is yellow. So in order for you to get white gold, you have to actually mix white metals into the gold. But what happens over time is that since you're mixing white and yellow together, it will have a slight yellowish tarnished look to it. So if you want to actually make it look pure white, metallic, and mirror-like, then you may want to rhodium plate it, because it will give it a more enhanced, beautiful aesthetic to your jewelry. Number 2, rhodium plating your jewelry will protect it from tarnishing and wear. What do I mean by that? So when you do wear jewelry out in the environment, in the real world, you may actually encounter certain elements, right? So if you wear precious metals or any other types of metals, different metals will react to different elements in the environment differently. So over time, many times you'll see that your jewelry may change color, it may get a little more dull, it may tarnish. Rhodium plating is actually very highly resistant to corrosion and tarnishing. So if you want to have it more of a pristine mint look for the long term, if you want your jewelry to always look nice, just like, you know, when you actually wear a t-shirt or when you wear a nice dress shirt or anything at all, if you were to iron your shirt, you want it to look nice and not wrinkled. When you actually rhodium plate your jewelry, what it does is it gives it that pristine look. It actually has a protective barrier, a thin layer of protective barrier around the jewelry, so that can protect it for the long term. So in case if you encounter any types of chemicals, any types of different elements, or any types of different liquids that may tarnish gold or platinum or anything like that, rhodium plating has a highly resistant factor when it comes to corrosion and tarnishing. So again, it protects your jewelry for the long term. Number 4, rhodium is actually very skin friendly and hypoallergenic. What does that mean? Yes, there are metals out there where people can be allergic to. Many times in gold, or white gold specifically, many manufacturers may include nickel into that piece of jewelry. And believe it or not, some people, not many, but some people are allergic to the metal nickel. However, so let's just say if you bought a piece of jewelry and you did not know there was nickel in it, and at the same time you are actually allergic to that piece of metal type, then what you can do, if let's just say you bought it for a couple of years and you didn't realize that you're allergic to it and you can't return it and the works, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you don't want to give it away, nor do you want to sell it because it's very sentimental to you, then one of the ways to actually reduce the allergic reaction, I'm not saying that's going to cure it, but you may actually help yourself out by rhodium plating it, because rhodium is hypoallergenic, and when it's hypoallergenic, it's skin friendly, and it may actually take away that irritation from you until that thin layer of rhodium goes away, and eventually you may have to rhodium plate it again. So again, if you are interested in making sure that your skin does not get irritated, or if you're dealing with that right now, then hopefully this helped you out. If you like what you learned so far, make sure you rhodium plate that like button and share this channel with everyone that you know that needs this information, because not only does it help out our channel, but it will also help out anyone that may be trying to learn about rhodium plating. Number 5, the easy maintenance and restoration of the rhodium plated jewelry. And what do I mean by that? Unlike other metals, rhodium is actually a type of metal that is highly resistant to oils, to fingerprints, to other types of elements in the environment compared to other metals. I mean, I'm not saying it's actually free and clear and it's the perfect metal out there, but at the same time, it has the ability to be highly resistant to oils and lotion and everything that you wear on your hands, and over time, fingerprints and those type of things. It's easy to wash off, so all you got to do is put under some hot water and some warm soap and just kind of clean it off a bit, and that's what the beauty of rhodium plating is. Now, on top of that, it is also quite cost effective in case over the years, let's just say you rhodium plate it and you've worn it for about 2 years or something like that, and it's scratched. It's actually quite cost effective to just take it back to a professional jeweler and have them replate your jewelry, right? So it goes through this electroplating process, but once you are able to do that, you replate your jewelry and it goes back and it looks mint, it looks brand new, it looks beautiful as if you just took it out of the ring box or any other box that you originally purchased it from, as if it was brand new from day one. So that's the beauty of rhodium plating. Now, that said, I do want to let you know that rhodium plating was actually quite expensive during the pandemic because the cost of everything went up. Matter of fact, the cost of rhodium, it went up so much by about 5, 6, 7 times, believe it or not, that at that point in time, the cost of actually servicing the rhodium plating was very, very high. It's gone down quite a bit. It still hasn't gone down as to where the level it used to be, but at the same time, it is still quite cost effective. It's a quite cost effective method for you to actually use if you want to make sure that you rhodium plate your jewelry, but at the same time have that easy way of cleaning, easy way to maintain, and easy way to restore your jewelry and make it look as if it's brand new again. Those are the reasons why you should always consider rhodium plating your jewelry. And if you haven't checked out last week's episode on how to not get scammed when purchasing jewelry, make sure you definitely check out that episode, especially if you're purchasing your first brand new, highly expensive piece of jewelry. Go ahead and tap and click here, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.